गुड इवनिंग लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन। आज फिर हम एक बार ब्रिगेडियर अजय मुखर्जी के साथ हैं। और लास्ट टाइम आपने इनके बारे में सुना ही था, जो इनकी अचीवमेंट्स हैं। तो मैं एक बार फिर से बताता हूँ कि इन्होंने करीब 8-10 साल मिलिटेंसी में काम किया जेएनके में। उसके बाद में ये अ, उन्होंने आरआर बटालियन, जो 31 आरआर है, जो कमांडो यूनिट है, उसको कमांड किया। और वेस्ट अफ्रीका में सेरोलोन एक जगह है जहां एक बहुत बड़ा रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन जो 75 डेज तक चला, उसमें भी इन्होंने काम किया। तो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, ज्यादा डिटेल में मैं नहीं जाऊंगा। बट आज का जो टॉपिक है, क्योंकि जो इनका इतना बड़ा एक्सपीरियंस है, 30 साल से ऊपर का जो एक्सपीरियंस है, उसमें इन्होंने इतनी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स, बिकॉज एज सच द वर्ल्ड इज सो वॉलेटाइल, कॉम्प्लेक्स, एम्बिगुअस। कब क्या होगा किसी को कुछ नहीं पता होता है। और उस सिचुएशन में प्रॉब्लम्स को कैसे सॉल्व करना है, वो बहुत बड़ी बात होती है। और यहाँ तो ये स्पेशल फोर्सेस में रहे, जहाँ अ, दिन और महीनों की बात नहीं है, हर सेकंड सिचुएशन बदलती है, और हर सेकंड उस सिचुएशन में आपको सजग रहना है और एक्शन लेना है और सक्सेसफुल होना है। तो उस तरह का एक्सपीरियंस पाना और उसमें एक्शन लेना, आज वो ये सारी बातें शेयर करेंगे। उसी चीज को एक जो नाम दिया गया है, हाउ डू यू थिंक सो क्रिएटिवली, दैट इज हाउ डू डिजाइन योर थिंकिंग सो दैट यू आर सक्सेसफुल इन एवरी सिचुएशन। सो इससे ज्यादा कि मैं आगे बताऊं कि क्या डिजाइन थिंकिंग जो टॉपिक है, उसमें ब्रिगेडियर अजय चक्रवर्ती से ही पूछते हैं, अजय मुखर्जी, आई स्टैंड करेक्टेड, पूछते हैं। सो अजय, वेलकम टू द शो वंस अगेन, विन लाइफ लाइक ए वॉरियर।
Thank you, sir. Yeah, good to be back again.
या बड़ा स्पेसिफिक आज हम बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आई नो दैट आपका जो इतना वास्ट एक्सपीरियंस है और जो इतनी सारी कहानियां आपकी जिंदगी से जुड़ी हुई हैं, उससे कोरिलेट करते हुए पहले ये बताइए कि जो डिजाइन थिंकिंग एक ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक अप्रोच है, तो आपने अपने जीवन, ये जो स्पेशल फोर्सेस के जीवन में किस तरीके से उसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया और सक्सेस अचीव।
ओके, डिजाइन थिंकिंग सबसे पहले तो एक टूल है। इट्स अ टूल जो आप यूज करते हैं। फर्स्टली इट्स एन इन्वेस्टिगेशन की वेदर जो प्रॉब्लम आपके सामने, जो प्रॉब्लम बोला जाता है, आपको दिया जाता है, जो आप देख रहे हो, वो प्रॉब्लम सही वही प्रॉब्लम है कि नहीं। आई मीन, you have an issue. Okay, either somebody gives you an issue or you see an issue, but is that the issue is the correct problem or not? That is one of the key elements of design thinking, is to first find the right problem, then only you will be able to get the right solution. So there are two parts that we divide. So generally फौज में होता क्या है कि the direction comes, it's a top down approach होता है. Okay, डिजाइन थिंकिंग जब सोल्यूशन ढूंढता है, इट इज अ बॉटम्स अप solution ढूंढता है. It goes into an investigation. It goes into a detailed discussion and understanding of the issue, how it is affecting the various people, जो stakeholder बोलते हैं, how is it affects everybody, how the environment is affecting those stakeholders, and उन सबको समझना. और उस समझने के बाद में ही then only you can determine if you have understood it correctly. Okay, that investigation into the stakeholders, the environment, what they do, what they feel, what they don't say, but they experience. Only when you have understood all these things, then only you can define what is the right problem statement. So, सबसे पहले it's an investigation into finding the right problem statement. अब होता क्या है कि menfolk, by virtue of menfolk being more action oriented, including all human beings, and especially so in forces, we have an action oriented mindset. Means the moment we see a problem, our past experiences will bias our mind to automatically guide us to a particular solution which I might have used or somebody might have used in some kind of similar atmosphere, an environment or a situation, And we immediately try to place that particular solution. अच्छा तब ये हुआ था, वैसे ही वाला situation है, इसी को डाल दो. Okay. So there are many examples in the Forge which which has happened, and we ended up solving the wrong problem. We solved a problem, but we solved the problem, a wrong problem. Hence, the solution which we were trying to develop for a particular people, it didn't help them. But we thought that, oh, we got a solution. So this is basically design thinking. Once you have gone through it, once you have understood it, the first thing it tells you, the moment you see an issue or a problem, you just hold back first. Hold your biases, hold your, your experiences trying to push you towards a particular direction. It first teaches you as to first understand what the people are going through. It is to walk in their shoe. But there is a big thing. Before walking into their shoe or wearing their shoe, you got to take off your own shoe. So means you got to take off all your biases, all your experience, what they are telling you. Okay. Hence, that is something which is totally different than how we deal with in any other problem solving tool. So hence, this is so critical, is to understand everything that is happening around the people who are going through an issue. So that is what one of the major, thought process that starts design thinking here. So in Forge, I'll give you one example as to how this, I'll tell you a fictitious story. I don't want to, but it's not fictitious. It has happened, but I will not take names like that. So I will start with Afghanistan. I'll take you to Afghanistan. I'll not even talk about J&K. Okay. So think about a village, Afghan village, impoverished, and going by their culture, the women folk, the children, and the men folk in the village. The woman had to walk quite a bit to collect water from a river. Okay. So they used to go, they used to collect water from the river, and then they used to come back. So the moment army saw this particular thing, so like we also do in Sadbhavna and J&K, So the army, the moment they saw, oh, this is a problem in the village, which we can easily solve. What is the problem? So the men went to the men folk, couple of women, army women folk, they went and spoke to the women little bit. But primary decision takers are the senior commanders or mostly men folk. So men folk spoke to the men folk. Yes, our wives have to go, children go so far away to collect water. This is army, oh, standard solution, get the engineers. हमने फट से इंजीनियर्स को टास्क दिया, इंजीनियर्स ने पंप लगाया, पाइप लगाया, and they brought water into the village. Oh, big photography and all, सब कुछ हुआ. हमने प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर दिया. कुछ दिन बाद वो सारे पाइप तोड़ दिए गए, पंप हाउस जला दिया गया. किसने जलाया? So there was an investigation. सबने सोचा पक्का तालिबान ने किया होगा, है ना? पर आफ्टर अबाउट 7 odd days और 10 odd days, जब ये थोड़ी सी इन्वेस्टिगेशन ज्यादा किया, मालूम चला कि ये जो तोड़े थे, ये वुमेन फोक ने खुद तोड़ा था. क्यों? Why? Because जब ये सोल्यूशन हमने फौज ने सोच के किया, तब उन्होंने ये नहीं समझा कि सोशल डायनामिक्स ऑफ दैट एरिया. सो वुमेन फोक बच्चों को लेके जब वो वहां जाते थे उतना दूर, away from the domination of the males, husbands, brothers, and everybody, this was their me time. This was their own time. They could play around. They can, have their own time, gossip, discuss, have fun. Okay. So what the pipeline did was they snatched away the freedom the women folk used to enjoy. Okay. So what army did was classically a fault where design thinking was not used. Had the design thinking being used, all the stakeholders need to be understood. The environment needs to be understood. The culture needs to be understood. It is only then you could have actually gone for a particular solution. So this solution, we ended up solving a wrong problem. I hope I've managed to explain it properly.
Absolutely. In fact, बेटा जब आपने जो एक बात कही कि it's a human centric and with empathy to the people around that problem.
Yes.
और आपने जो एग्जांपल दिया है वो जो empathy part toward those women folk was not understood, and that is why that problem was not resolved correctly. So
इसका एक कॉरोलरी मैं एक और एग्जांपल दे इसका एक और नियर बाय सोल्यूशन अपने इंडिया में सॉरी एक सिमिलर सिचुएशन इंडिया में मेरे को किसी ने बताया था व्हेन आई वाज टेकिंग दिस लेक्चर इन स्टाफ कॉलेज. So there was one professor who was he was also with us in that group, who was talking about critical thinking. So when he saw this example, he says, okay, we have a similar thing in India. So I said, what? He said, in a particular village, the problem was the women folk have to go and do, ablution in the morning in the field. So they said that कि नहीं यहाँ पर toilets होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए करके. So then they built the toilets for the women folk. But then they realized none of the women folk used to go over there. Okay. So when they wanted to know कि क्या हुआ, हमने तो ये बनाया, why are you not going? He said it's simple. We go there as a community affair. We to each other. अगर तुमने हमको एक छोटे-छोटे cubicle गंदे वाले उसके अंदर घुसा दिया, we can't talk to each other. So we still prefer to go outside because there we talk, we gossip and all. So then they had to actually break holes in the walls of the toilet to cater for that. So this is something which I heard from somebody that this was a live thing that had actually happened in one of our villages in India.
Okay. So, Ajay, you have been in J&K for 8 to 9 years. I'm sure you must have come across many such issues. You may like to cite a couple of issues on J&K where unknowingly or subconsciously you have been using this design thinking, which is
I will not say subconsciously because design thinking as a concept I came to know much earlier. See, in special forces, I would say, or bulk of it, people who are operating in CI operation, one of the major differences between the special forces operation, our operation, and the other operation is the other operation, people go with mass. A lot of people. But for us, it has to be just a squad level. I mean, maximum 6 guys or 2 squads, about 12 guys or about a troop. So 18, 20 guys, not more than that. Now, to solve that problem, firstly, we are going to, engage how many militants? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maximum, 6 to 8 maximum. What is the most critical thing in CIOs? Is to reach the target area undetected. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the main aspect.
Yeah.
The moment to take a mass to that particular point, because of your size, your surprise is lost beforehand only. So small team operation, when we used to do, is basically to reach that area undetected. Okay. Now I'll tell you, it was a battle in itself, in our own mind, in my own mind, as to how to get out of the post undetected. Okay, like my post was in Shupia and Chogam for a very long time. I had nearly 10 years over there. Now, it is observed by these civilians. In those days, the moment Fauj used to get out of the post, which particular direction, immediately radios will open up and they say, ki, okay, ye para wale nikle hain is direction. We used to get those intercepts and all. So the first thing was that how to get out of your post. Secondly, as a thumb rule, we used to say that the route in and route out has to be different. Okay. Many of our lives in CI operation, it's very sad to say, but it has been lost because of this particular issue not being, addressed properly. And if there is a solitary road which is going towards a target area and you have gone and did the operation, and while you're coming back on from the same route, you're bound to get ambushed or you're bound to get ID. Okay, because those days the militants were too many. Okay, so always we had to think from the militant's point of view. The only way to survive, our basic survival dependent on how innovative you are, how creative you are, on your feet, always thinking and trying to stay couple of steps ahead of the militaries. In my team, in my troop, whenever we used to go out, I always used to tell my guys that, kid, okay, always look for probable ambush sites whenever you're walking. What things can go wrong is the anticipation. You always are anticipating. Had I been that militant, now walking into his shoes, wearing his shoes, had I been that militant, what would I do? Where would I sit? Where would I ambush? Where would I get engage this thing? So it's a constant, thought process that is to go on. Okay. So creativity and innovation for us in SF was a matter of survival. I would say not only here in India, but when we went to Sierra Leone, our operation involved, after we do the rescue part, was to basically an exfiltration of over 28 kilometers through one solitary track, unmetalled jungle track on both sides, thick jungles with RUF all around. One of the major challenges was that we knew we will get ambushed, but we didn't have any weapon system with a heavy firepower which can saturate an area through the jungle. The only weapon system that particular what we had was MMG. But we all know our MMG is tripod based. It's a crew served weapon. It cannot be fired from by taking it to a hand. You cannot take it up in your hand and then fire it. Okay. And it's a belt fed ammunition. Normally you have a crew of 2 to 3 to handle the MMG. But that was the only weapon system which we had, which actually can bring down heavy volume of fire in the jungle. So we actually carried out a lot of brainstorming in design thinking. It comes that firstly, what was the problem? It's each stakeholder, my soldiers, ourselves, all my guys who are the scouts who will go, what was their problem? This came out, sir, we need a heavy volume of fire to saturate an area. Which weapon can give that? The MMG. But MMG cannot be carried. Then comes so we came home down to the problem. Okay, MMG is the one, but the problem is how to carry the MMG in a mobile fashion. So then we understood the MMG, various parts, various things and all. And then we came up with a fantastic innovation over there. We actually modified the MMG to be fired from hip roll.
Oh.
Yeah, we did it in Sierra Leone with the local workshop. We designed a couple of, without major modification in the MMG, which we carried out. And thereafter, that MMG was used in a hip roll. One guy was supporting it, definitely. But one guy was carrying it, double sling on LMG sling. We put kind of a front grip between, so we bolted two wooden pieces between the barrel and the gas cylinder, which was his front grip. Rear, we put a butt group and with a hook to have the cylinder, the sling. We cut the ammunition box into half, and instead of 100-round belt, we created small 50-round belts. We put two hooks into the ammunition box to hang on the side of the MMG. And this is how we could actually use the MMG and we did use it while our exfiltration. And that brought down heavy volumes of fire wherever we needed. So innovation was like, I say that it was a basic question of our survival. But having understood design thinking long time back, I could actually put it into the process and then come out with the solutions that we need. And rather, I would say that probably I am alive and I had probably one of the minimum casualties in my team is probably because of we were more creative and innovative in our thought process.
Certainly, this is a fantastic example of innovation during the operations and how you can utilize the situations to your advantage by creating innovative tools and weapons. Fantastic, really.
In army, I'm sure you would have seen a lot of. I also come across a number of videos in YouTube that keep coming. In army, by virtue of us have to operate with the resources have always been, less than what is required. So one concept that we always grew up with is Jugaad. Okay, you modify this, थोड़ा सा जुगाड़ करके कुछ करके. We are master of modification in the army.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sure in your signals also, sir, you would have done many such innovations.
Lot
EME
of.
does so. You know how during this last Ladakh standoff, how the tanks were actually taken up to those heights by heating the engines because everything was freezing over there. The amount of innovation and creativity that the army does, our forces does, is huge. It's just that it doesn't come out in the media properly. But if you see it, and with the thought process of identifying those things, there are many things that we have done.
Yeah.
My own unit, much before the laser aiming points came into vogue. Okay, I mean, so I was in IMA when I actually got back, or before that, yeah. Laser aiming points basically were the toys initially used to come, those small brass ones. Okay, the small ones, much before it was to be used even for their PowerPoint presentation. So in my unit in Agra, through the workshop, they modified those brass cylinders wherein they fitted this laser aiming point in that with a switch in the forehand grip with four screws in front and rear in that cylinder, which was getting attached to the bayonet attachment clip. And it is to work as a fantastic laser aiming point. I brought down many militants because of the laser aiming point. I swear by it. I am alive today because of one-to-one situation where I use the laser aiming points to a fantastic effect. Now every weapon system has got Picatinny rail and all the sophisticated laser aiming points are there available. In those days, there were none. So my own unit did it. Somebody thought about it. Somebody actually went through the problems. What was the problem? How would we enhance our efficiency in a close quarter combat?
Yes.
And somebody, I don't know the name, whoever did it, has been a genius to actually put that thing on a brass tube and to be attached to the bayonet catch in a M58 VZ. And I used it. I used it extensively. I used to insist my boys to use it extensively. And we have been very effectively use that laser aiming point.
That is what the whole solving the problem means. Get into the problem and find the correct problem and find the correct solution.
Correct. Firstly, the important is to understand what is the correct problem.
Yes. In fact, you mentioned about that signals. Brig Ajoy, there are many such modifications we carry out. Like we had some overseas radio set and we had an Indian radio set. How do we communicate among each other? So bringing those, you can say that signal to the base level means first demodulate and then finally you connect at the base level so that you are able to communicate. And this problem basically used to come when we were in Manipur area where Kenwood handsets and here you are ANPRC. And so there were a lot of such kind of innovations where you have to communicate with a different kind of protocols and other things. And this
Absolutely.
is what happens in every arms and service.
Yes, but the major difference between a product related small issue with a particular product, so that is the little bit of innovation that you're carrying out for a particular task, because instead of the solution is already known.
Yeah.
Design thinking is the place where it takes you where the end state is not known.
And then human lives are involved in this.
Stakeholders, and basically what we say is that design thinking is primarily used for complex wicked problem. What is a wicked problem? So there are problems are basically categorized into three parts. One is a simple problem. हथियार में रोक हुआ, automatically touch. So the end state is known. ये फट से निकल लिया, हथियार में रोक, या gunnery में कुछ issue हुआ, signals में radio में कुछ problem हुआ. You know that people have got set pattern drill how to clean. Then come the medium intensity problems, where the complexity is the user is very much aware of what is the problem. The other people are also very much aware that this is the problem. We are very clear that, okay, this is the problem, this has to be solved like that. One or two stakeholders are involved in that, 2, 3, and you come to a definitive single solution. Problems that come, which are much more complex in nature, where far more stakeholders are involved.
Yes.
Where your intrinsic, your experiences and biases does not help you at all. Okay. Where the end state is not known, you don't know where it will lead to. okay, like environmental problems and other complex issues where the end state is not known. That's where the design thinking actually comes into play. It helps tremendously to find the right solution and to find solution for the user group or the stakeholders in that. So that is one of the major difference in this.
Yes, yes. So, Ajay, I remember one of the interview when I spoke to one of the special forces officer. They had a problem of कि जब भी बूट पहन के वो चलते तो मिलिटेंट को पता लग जाता है कि भाई ये आर्मी वाले बूट्स हैं, तो यहाँ से ये रास्ते से आ रहे हैं, तो वो सरप्राइज खत्म हो जाता है. So the first thing what they did, they started wearing those sports shoes, normal sports shoes. वो उससे भी उनको पता लगने लगा बिकॉज कलेक्टिवली कंटिन्यूसली वो सेम इंप्रेशन है, तो उन्होंने नेकेड पैरों से चलना शुरू कर दिया एंड दैट बॉर्न द फ्रूट्स इन गेटिंग द रिजल्ट्स.
ये तो दिस इज पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ द स्मॉल ग्रुप ऑपरेशन. जैसे like lot of time we have to operate in the local dresses. So if you're in local dresses, if you wear your boots, then it's a giveaway. So like Valley, when you used to operate, we had to wear what they wear. But luckily, those days, the militants used to come from Pakistan. They used to, much before we actually were having those kind of boots, like ankle high, well padded, with a good gripping sole. We were stuck with our own jungle shoes. That's it. And jungle shoe rubber used to wear off very fast. And you're aware how bad, if you have a little bit of broad feet, your jungle shoe is a real pain to use. You can't wear your DMSs in this kind of slope. So these militants, what used to use were those, they used to come from outside and they were all high-tech. Those days, we didn't have those shoes. So then we used to buy a similar kind of shoes. Then Liberty and all came up with a little bit of those kind of, cushioned and rubber sole boots, the civil boots, which militants were also using. But otherwise, yes, for covert operations and all, we had to wear those normal rubber duckback shoes. Just make a snow under se ghus raha hai and our feet are getting frozen. It used to be very, very painful to do, especially in winters, to do any covert operations, wearing just a firan, salwar niche mein, and you can't wear thermals in between because the number of layers, the friction increases, your ergonomics goes for a 6. And I couldn't ever wear a liner below my pajama. So I couldn't ever do it for some reason. So I used to just use the kurta pajama. And पैर के नीचे में it was just a duck back shoe. And उसका socks भी तो अपना ही वाला है, civil वाला ही पहनना है. You can't be wearing your jute socks. So then side से duck back का height कितना होता था? 6 inches. So उसके अंदर से तो बर्फ घुसता ही था. And then, that thing is to liquefy it inside. So by the time, till the time you're moving around, your feet are warm. It is good. But the moment you used to stop somewhere for some duration in the freezing temperature at night, oh God, it used to be really painful. It's always been painful.
आपने स्नो की बात कहा. I believe you had some death experience, near death experience during some avalanche. Was it?
So I was leading a expedition team of IMA, of these gentlemen cadets, to Kedar Dome. So Kedar Dome is a kind of a domish kind of a feature ahead of Tapovan. So if I explain you, Gomukh, everybody knows. So Gangotri to Gomukh, thereafter it bifurcates into two sides. Left hand side is the Bhagirathi series. Right side is the Shivling, and across the Shivling is across the Bhagirathi glacier is that place called Kedar Dome. Now Kedar Dome is an amazing feature. It just requires endurance with a minimum technical skill. Okay, it's a dome. It's above touching 7,000 meter altitude. The top is not a conical point. It is a kind of a dome structure. Okay. It sounds that it is a very simple peak to climb. A lot of people have lost their life right on top also. And their bodies are till date has not been recovered. And a good day, even I would say that young cadets, any young person with a little bit of training can climb on a good day. But on a bad day, that feature itself has taken a lot of lives. So it was our bad luck, probably. So 9th June, I remember we started in 1998. So I was leading the first team, the first group, which was supposed to go up. Ahead of us, two bounds, I would say, ahead of us, there was a Swiss team where these Swiss ski instructors, they were trying to climb, and they thought that from after Kedar Dome, after climbing, they wanted to ski down certain place. So there were two bounds ahead of us. Uh, they left about 2 days before us. Actually, they started climbing from the base camp. So 9 June, early morning, we started our climb. When we reached somewhere about a couple of thousand feet, we saw the Swiss team coming back. So then we asked what happened. Did you summit so early? Well, no summit. It's too cold. That time the weather was still clear. They already, couple of guys had already had frostbite. So they had to abandon their plan and they were getting back. So I said, fine. It was still a bright open day. So we pressed on. And just because IMA cadets are much fitter, we were much fitter lot. I was just also a young officer. So I was taking a team of about 10 cadets and one high altitude guide and two high altitude porters. So porters are divided into LAPs and HAPs. One is a low altitude porter, one is a high altitude porter. Their rates are separate. And there is a guide. So this was the team when I was leading it. And by the time we reached, we jumped the first camp. We said we will not stop because we were climbing fast. And we reached the second camp, which was kind of a summit camp. We were just up a couple of, I think, 2,000 feet below the summit. By the time we reached there, bad weather caught us. The snow blizzard started. Mm-hmm. So we had just 3 tents. So we interlocked our 3 tents, 3 dome tents into each other. And we were on a narrow ledge. And what happened was most of our rucksacks were kept outside in that flap. And those days we didn't have these modern tents where you had, outside area also where you could actually keep your luggage. Couple of GCs by mistake put their shoes, since they were getting inside and it was a cramped up condition, they put their shoes also in their rucksack. So first night, complete snow blizzard was going on. And the whole night, nothing happened. So we stayed inside. I said, okay, next day, we'll see if the weather opens up. We attempt a climb. If not, then we have to go down. So in mountains, there is a thumb rule. And I had done HAWS course and whatever. Rather, I would say that I'm alive today because of HAWS course. I have no qualms in admitting it, because in HAWS, I've taken a number of lectures on survival on this also. I always say it with full conviction. In Indian Army, if there is one course which every instructor is worth his salt and like an Pujya-like experience, is HAWS. Okay, whatever I've learned in the basic and advanced course, I learned it very honestly. That saved me that day. So the thumb rule is, if you get stuck in that kind of altitude for more, if the condition is bad, environment is bad for more than 12 hours, the mountain becomes very unstable. And you're supposed to de-induct immediately. You're supposed to get down. So the whole night had gone. Morning when I woke up, outside the snow blizzard was still going on. It was a total whiteout condition. I couldn't see anything. So I said, forget about climbing. Now let's plan off going down. So we cannot go up. But then the whole day, the snow blizzard remained so strong that we couldn't even get out of our tent. At night time, we couldn't do anything. So I said, okay, come what may, tomorrow morning, we have to go down. Now, prepare accordingly. No more climbing. Weather is not going to, even the weather becomes okay. We still cannot risk climbing, because hard snow, previous hard snow, now soft snow will not create an anchorage, and it's a high chances of much more number of avalanches happens at that particular time because of the anchorage not being there. Mountain becomes very unstable. By about 8 o'clock or so, we had finished our dinner. And by the time, this was the third day and second night, our appetite had, because we were already above 6,000 meter altitude. Okay, 6,000 meter altitude. Appetite had gone. Nobody could eat anything. At that time, we were in a pathetic state. So I said, okay, let's go to sleep. And tomorrow morning, we will have breakfast and we were going down. And come what? Now, we all, by about 8:30, I think 8:30, we were all trying to go to sleep. So by that time, there were a lot of avalanches which are coming on left and right side because you could hear the massive noise of the avalanche. It makes a huge noise. One of those, that time, suddenly there was a, the whole area started shaking and a massive weight of some, massive weight just came and hurried us down. Now, understand this. We are inside the tent. We were all inside our sleeping bag. And we got smashed like that. The weight of wet snow of that much of this thing is very, very heavy. Now, I had a habit of sleeping in sleeping bag upside down. It is because while in jungle, while I used to take rest in a sleeping bag in Kashmir, so that the weapon was always into our side. Suddenly, if you have to wake up, the top portion can be thrown up and then I am ready. So zipper is always below us. Generally, how do we sleep in sleeping bag? The zipper is zipped up over here and this is how the top cover comes. For us, it has to be ulta. The zipper has to be down below. So we used to take half the sleeping bag like a blanket on top. Only the leg is inside so that we get ready. So that was my habit. So I was sleeping like that. And I was sleeping on my right side. So my head was on this shoulder and I was sleeping like this. So when I got buried, so this elbow of mine gave me a little bit of space for air. So the guys who were sleeping like this, the sleeping bag, the tent fell on their face like this and it was pressing them down. So suddenly, the pressure was so much that we couldn't move our limb. We were like actually where we were. So in my tent, there were 5 of us and they were started moaning. I said, go, hold on. Just don't finish off your oxygen. Because now I don't know who's there to pull us out. We were in such a high altitude area. There is nobody to pull us out. And I always used to carry a cord around my neck with three survival things, one knife, one torch, and one lighter. Small ones. It's always used to be with me like a mala. But that somehow went behind my neck. And I couldn't grip it to bring it in front. Now, when I couldn't do it, I tried to chew the tent and try to tear it off. But it's a nylon, double-layered tent. So I thought, that time there's nothing to do. It was like almost, we are stuck. Suddenly I could hear after some time, noise on top and somebody's clearing the snow. Suddenly the tent goes up, the tent cover goes up and somebody cuts the tent and fresh air. So we immediately jumped out, came out and started digging the third tent. We dug with our bare hands and we went in because luckily all the 3 tents were interlocked side by side. So we could actually hit the tent and we pulled the other guys out. Now we survived. Out of those HAPs, one Sherpa was awake cutting vegetables for next day morning breakfast. He was sitting. He had his knife in his hand and he was cutting vegetables. So when he got buried straight. So with his knife in his hand, the tent and all was there. So he could easily first cut his tent. Since he was sitting straight, so he could actually come out straight. So these people came out straight and they dug all of us on. This is by about around 9:15 or so, we all came out. But the problem is bulk of our equipment got washed off. So there were many of us who didn't have shoes, jackets. So then we had this survival drill called, we make them wear the sleeping bag. From down below, we cut it off. And from side, we make a slit so that the hand comes up. And for the feet, we put sweaters and we wrap it with the sweaters and with the rucksack cover, we tie it up. So then I had to take a decision. Now the mountain has become very unstable. We cannot stay here. We have to lose height. So we immediately roped up and we decided to rope up in one single rope. I said, no, generally 4-man rope hota hai. So I said, nothing doing. We all rope up together because even if one guy goes down out of this 4, if one guy, the 3 of us, the remaining 3 are not capable of actually pulling him. But between the 10, 12 of us, we should be able to pull each other out. And the snow blizzard was going on. So I asked the Sherpa was the HAP was Himalayan Sherpa. His name was Himalayan Sherpa in Uttarkashi, and he used to work for NIM at that time, in civilian. So I told him, okay, keep. So there is a left ledge, and the left ledge, all you can see was the rocks jutting out, and we know that after that it's a sheer fall. So I said, okay, reference that rocky outcrop that you see, whatever edges, keep 10 feet onto the right and keep losing height. We just keep losing height. That's all. So we came down about 100 to 200 feet probably. Then Himalayan Sherpa says, okay, sir, it is becoming very dangerous. I don't know where I'm, because he was the one who was leading with a torch. He said, I don't know where I'm, I can't see anything. So then we came to a slight flattish ground. I said, okay, let's do survival drill here. So what is survival drill in that case? You put a marker, a rucksack or any kind of marker which everybody can see, and then you have to walk around it. So the whole night we kept marching around it. I made buddy pace. All of us actually have buddy pace. I said it is buddy pace responsibility to keep each other awake, and nobody stops, nobody sits down. Everybody have to walk. Now we are already in waist deep snow. Okay, so kind of a trench has already got created in between. So we were, walking whole night like that, stamping, walking, stamping, walking. So I had a I-6 in my hand. So whoever was stopping, I was actually hitting them. I said, koi baithega nahi, chalte raho, chalte raho, chalte raho, karke, keep pushing. And these are GCs, cadets, end of the day. So whole night we kept doing it. And the amazing part, when in your, from your sides, when an avalanche goes, it creates a tremendous amount of vacuum. Okay. And when the vacuum, to fill the vacuum, when the air gushes in, it has so much of power, it feels like it can suck you inside. So the moment you used to hear gad, 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 we used to dive inside that whatever kind of trench that got created, and then we could hear whoosh, the wind going from top. So the whole next day morning, my alarm beeped at 5 o'clock, still can't see anything. I said, okay, morning 5 o'clock ho gaya. And those days there were no GPS. The people must be thinking GPS leke kyun. And the radio set was also lost. So we didn't have any communication with the base station. So after some time, you could actually identify the color of the jackets and all. I said, okay, let's again start moving down. So Himalayan Sherpa said, haan, saab niche utarte. Now in between, I was telling everybody, koi baraf nahi khayega. We didn't have any water. I said, koi baraf nahi khayega, because what happens is the body is now trying to keep you warm by pushing the blood on the extremities. Okay. The moment you consume ice or the body will now have to warm that water up. So you will using up more energy. So I was telling anybody, koi nahi wo karega. Now just imagine the whole night, next whole day, we are walking down and waist deep wet snow. So half the time we are sliding, we are falling. It's very, very tiring to walk through snow, as I'm sure you're aware. By about evening, about 6 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, our nursing assistant who was with us, he collapsed. Hypothermia had set in. He started yelling, shouting, and the moment he used to come to senses for a couple of seconds, he says, "Mere ko mat manne do, mujhe saab mujhe bacha lo, saab mujhe bacha lo." It was heart wrenching. Then I realized, now I can't leave this guy back. I cannot carry this by all of us in a bad state. Then I decided, okay, here I will do a camp now. I'll make a foxhole. I'll enter the foxhole with this guy. Hopefully, we have come down enough to find the base camp. So I then told everybody, including Himalayan Sherpa, in my calculation, the base camp probably is on this direction. And maximum 1 or 2 hours of walk, you should be able to find that base camp. Go send help. So there was another 9-para ex-ACC cadet with me in that. So I told him, naturally, I said, Parawala strong. And because he is an ex-ACC guy, that means he has done quite some time in 9-para. So he was fit. I said, tu ruk raha mere saath. And then one of the GCs didn't have boots or anything without this thing. And he was in a bad state. He said, sir, mere se aur chala nahi hai. I said, fine, then you stay back. So between me and the 9-para guy, we were holding the nursing assistant, trying to give him body-to-body heat. Because everything of ours was wet at that time. All down with the equipment, whatever that was there, all drenched wet. By about 6 o'clock, these guys left. 7 o'clock, nothing happened. 8 o'clock, around 8 o'clock, this nursing assistant died in our arms. Lost him. It was purely by hypothermia. So then I said, okay, is that foxhole mein jagah nahi hai. So just next to that, there was another huge rock. So uske side se, I made another foxhole. And me and that Amrinder, that cadet, I said, कि मेरे साथ आ जा, 9 पैरा को मैंने बोला, तू यहीं बैठे रहे. We are here only. It was just close by. By about 9 o'clock, nothing came. Then and my body came into tremendous amount of, what do you call, cramps because of no hydration. It came to such a bad situation. Even I couldn't breathe. If I breathing, my lungs muscles around it was cramping. And by about 9:30, I would say that the GC on top of me, I said, okay, I thought that no help is going to come. I thought all the rest of the guys have also perished. They couldn't find the base camp. They would also perish. Next to go is me because I was in such a bad state. And your mind starts calculating, okay, body temperature 37 degrees, slowly and slowly hypothermia will set in. Body temperature will keep sliding down. If I'm not evacuated, not lowered in height, not provided with external heat, I will just sleep off. And that's the end of the story. I was under so much of pain. I wanted to sleep at that time. I said, let's just get over with it. I was under so much of pain. So I kept the GC on top of me, thinking that he will have an air pocket around him and he will survive. Even if I go, he will have much more time. Suddenly, this guy jumps up and starts yelling, I am very feeble. So I thought, okay, this guy is also gone. Yeah, hypothermia must have set in. So I was telling him, conserve your energy, don't shout. So again, he collapsed. Suddenly, after some time, nay, sir, I can hear something. Again, he jumped out and started yelling, shouting with whatever little energy he had. Then I saw torch flashes. Finally, they came and they rescued us. And I couldn't actually walk and breathe. So the rescue party was led by Major S.V. Singh from Gurkhas. He is still a dear friend of mine. He saved my life. I always say that. So when he saw me in that condition, immediately 2 guys went and massaged my chest and they immediately took off my jacket, which was wet, and my headgear. And the jacket which he was wearing, he made me wear that and he put his warm headgear on. So immediately I felt a relief. And then 2 guys picked me up and then we walked back. So what I'll tell you the story, what happened from the other side. These guys did found the camp. Okay. Then from the top, when they saw the camp, they started shouting, help, help, help. And each guy was rushing on his own way. So they were not following a single path. Somebody's falling onto the left, somebody's falling onto the right. Everybody is actually going from a different path. Now, the scene at the camp is they thought that these guys are shouting with joy that they have summited and that's why they're coming up. So nobody came out. They were just waiting. It's only when they come slightly closer, then they realize they're shouting, help, help, help. And then they saw people falling, not being able to get up with great. Then these guys ran and got them. So then Himalayan Sherpa narrated where we are, because he was the only guy who was in a condition to guide them. But none of these party, anybody from here could have come up because they were not in that physical state. So the rescue party, when they started climbing up, they had multiple tracks. They didn't know which track to follow. All they had a description was there is a huge rock on only the top portion is visible, approximately this direction, this particular distance. They are dug in a foxhole. They came to that spot twice before. They were going back. It is then Major S.V. Singh said that nothing doing. If these guys have said that yahan par bande hain, we are not leaving them back. We will not go back till the time we find them. It's only on the 3rd attempt they found us. And then we came back. So unfortunately, it was the nursing assistant whom we lost. Well, that's a very sad. He was not supposed to go, He was supposed to go with the subsequent team. It's just that, I don't know what liking it to me. Nahi sahab, mere ko aapke saath jana hai. Aapko aapke saath jana hai. That was the sad part. I mean, Himalayan Sherpa next day had a snow blindness. Number of us had number of issues, frostbite, chilblain. It was, but at least none of the cadets, I could manage to get all of them down safely. Unfortunately, the nursing assistant lost his life. That was the only sad part. And expedition there afterwards. We were, after 2 days, weather cleared, and then we were taken out by helicopter. And we're back to
Ajay, I'm sure this you can very well narrate in a book. You can write a
yeah.
book on this incident itself. I can tell you that. Please, there's a
Sure,
lot
sir, I
to
think we deviated enough from the design thinking one, which I
maybe, but you must have employed many things as a part of design thinking in this. Like one place
this
you
was
said,
pure survival, sir. It is pure survival, and my
yeah,
knowledge. I am.
yeah,
I can say it with full conviction that I am alive today purely because of the training I received in HOS. I mean, I always tell everyone in my unit. In fact, after that, I used to say that all youngsters who join in my unit must go for the HOS series of courses, and this has got tremendous use in civil work. So,
व्यूअर्स जो आप सुन रहे हैं ये हॉर्स इज हाई एल्टीट्यूड वॉरफेयर कोर्स
altitude
जिसमें
warfare school.
ये स्कूल इट इज
Yeah.
a fantastic course which teaches about how to survive in such a scenarios.
Yeah, how to
Ajay,
fight in high altitude area in mountains, how to climb mountains, how to survive in. So there is two separate types. One is a mountain warfare, one is a winter warfare. Winter warfare, everything to do with a snowbound area. How to carry out operations, primarily operations in snowbound areas. So in the mountain warfare series, in mountains, and also offshoot of that is they also train you as to how to climb mountains. That is there. So it is one of the best courses of the Indian Army.
अजय मैं एक चीज जब आप ये नरेट कर रहे थे तो एज ए इंस्ट्रक्टर बिकॉज वी ऑल हैव गॉन थ्रू द इंडियन मिलिट्री एकेडमी इंस्ट्रक्टर की बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेवारी होती है जब वो कैडेट को लेके चलता है तो आई एम श्योर कि आपकी क्या स्थिति होगी उस टाइम मानसिक स्थिति एज ए इंस्ट्रक्टर आपके साथ 5 या 6 जो कैडेट्स हैं उनको बचाना है और आई एम श्योर दैट आपने अपनी जिंदगी को दांव पे लगा के उनको बचाने की कोशिश की उनको गर्मी दी ये किया तो एज ए इंस्ट्रक्टर मतलब आई कैन जस्ट फील दैट कि क्या जज्बा होगा आपने
I am sure natural way of thinking of ours also. If you are the eldest and you are the instructor,
yes,
you are
yes.
your own last priority.
Yes,
Your priority number one, my priority number one, without even any kind of thought process, is the lives of the gentlemen cadets. They were my priority number one.
right.
So anything and everything that I do is had to be oriented towards that. Not only me, in my position, anybody and everybody will do it. Even in natural life, I'm sure. Yeah. Everybody would have done the same. So
yes.
That attempt was that, it's pure science. Air is a bad conductor of heat. Okay. It works both ways. I knew that I'm going. I was sanguine. I'm telling you now. So all those kahani people tell you na, that just before death, you think that your whole life crosses in front of your eye. You think of your people. I used to laugh. I said, okay, nothing happens. My body was under so much of pain. I just wanted to die. I just wanted to sleep off. And I knew that I'm going. So hence, how can I save him? So if I am down below in contact with the snow, if he is not in contact with the snow, he's got an air pocket around him. So his chances of survivability increases. So it's a pure science. There's no other thought process in this. He needs to survive more than me. Now, the 9 para guy, he had somebody over there, though dead now, but he had the sleeping bag and other things still there. So he could create a cushion around him. So, but I took him, has to be mentally much stronger. He's a 9 para guy. And so in our paras, we are taught to survive alone and all. So I totally depend on him. He would be able to manage himself and let me manage this cadet of mine. So that is the main thought process. But frankly, sir, I'm sure anybody in my place would have done the same. There is nothing special at that. Absolutely.
It's a chilling experience. In fact, it's a chilling experience.
Yeah. That's it.
You will be surprised when I posted this flyer this time that you are coming again. Yeah. One viewer exclusively written about asking this incident.
Oh, sure. Okay.
He wrote that.
How does he know that this has happened? So must be somebody student of mine. Yeah.
You must have. So these cadets of yours, I hope you must have met them after the academy days.
Yeah. So when I came back to IMA, I stayed back in Harsil because the second team wanted to attempt. So I refused to get evacuated. I said, no, let me, because I am the only one who knows कि ऊपर में क्या हो रहा है. So if they get stuck, I'm the only one who can actually guide them. So I said, nothing doing, I'm staying here. But then there was a Garhwal unit in Harsil. The CO took an undertaking. He says, are you sure? He says, Saab, send a signal. The officer refused to go back because everybody had to be evacuated from there. Luckily, there was a doctor of that unit and his wife is also a doctor. So the wife had also come there for chutti. So doctor told him, sir, मैं इसको अपने पास रखता हूँ. So morning and evening, like I had major chilblains in both. Luckily, frostbite the gaya nahi tha. So they would, put alum in water, boil water, and my whole day, morning and afternoon, I had to sit with my hand and feet inside that. So I didn't come back. So once I came back with the main party back to Dehradun, and I used to go and meet these cadets every. Luckily, thank God for that. No amputation. No amputation, not a single one. They developed various cold-related injuries. The cold-related injuries, more or less, kind of gives a lot of problem later on in life. My hand and feet in cold does give a little bit of problem. So, but luckily, no frostbite. And they were painful incidents in the MH. I also suffered a lot of painful about a week. So what happens is in Chilmei, all your blood capillaries get blocked off. Okay, so they were all blocked. Now, once we came back, it was like July, August. So Dehradun is warm. Now the blood is trying to push its way through those blocked veins. Okay, it's terribly painful feeling. I couldn't hold anything. I couldn't put my feet down. I was all on my elbows and knees, and my wife being there was helping me out. And I was only wondering, how are the GCs managing in the hospital? That feeling when the blood is trying to open the vein and trying to find or creating new path in the wherever you had those chilblains and all, it's a very, very painful experience. For 7 days, I suffered like anything, and I used to regularly go there, meet them. I could understand the pain they are going through. They were given morphine injection to handle their pain because they used to shout and cry at night. They went through terrible times. All of us went through terrible times after coming there.
But you met them after in the service also sometime?
Yeah, we keep meeting. There was one officer posted in Delhi. He was instructor in staff college also with me. So he was not there in the first group. He was down below. Major SV Singh, who actually saved me. Just the other day, I was speaking with him. He's also retired. So just the other day, I was talking to ma'am. And so one of the big things that we did after coming back, you know what? He said, again, thereafter, no saving. I told my wife, no more saving. Whatever we earn, we enjoy and live for today, not bother about tomorrow.
That should be the motto of the life.
Yeah, after that, I never saved.
And that is what design thinking also is all about. This means everything.
Design thinking is a completely different issue. I would only encourage your viewers.
Life is so volatile, so uncertain.
Yeah. No, you are right. So design thinking, you can employ in your own personal life also. Yes. So if you have young viewers who are still, not decided as to which life they want to lead in future, they can apply design thinking principles in their own life also. So design thinking has got 5 steps. First is empathy. That is, you understand the stakeholders, understand everybody, live what they are going through and understand the problem. Then is the define stage. So in define stage, what you're doing is you're trying to basically understand what is the correct problem. Okay. So if you apply in your own life, you have this issue going on. These are the issues. These are the, so what is the problem statement or opportunity statement? You can know. Next come is ideate. Ideation is basically nothing but brainstorming. There are many tools in brainstorming. So you brainstorm, understand that particular path that you want to carry forward in your life. You gather all data of that and brainstorm which aligns to your personal traits, characteristics, and liking. Most important is you have to like what you're going to do. That is very, very critical. Love your job and not a single day you have to work in your life. That concept is very true. We loved our job in the army. So I think we had a great time. Next comes is prototyping. Prototyping is basically whatever solution you are looking for, you create small, probable solutions of that, small prototypes and play them out and see and discuss with your teams whether these prototype is solving the problem or not. In your own life, how do you do prototyping? Your prototyping is basically going and asking how another person in that similar line has gone through. So you use him as his prototype. You can always call them up. Sir, I want to become this. Sir, I want to become, I want to open I would say what? I mean, any industry, any kind of business you want to do. So find people who have already done that. Go and talk to them. I'm sure they will like to share their experience. Okay, talk to them. So live through their experience. That is your prototype. The one sample is already made. Speak to number of those kind of people. Then you get a holistic view. So you get whole lot of prototypes in that. So build you can apply it in your own life also. And then come to testing part. Finally, when you are actually preparing, test yourself whether you suit, whether that matches your requirement. So design thinking you can apply it to your own life also. Your young viewers, I would only through your podcast, I would say that read about it. There are tremendous amount of videos which are there in YouTube on this particular subject. Go through all of them. And it's a fantastic tool. It propels you. It changes your mindset. It changes your aptitude and attitude, the way you see a problem towards. I mean, this will help you. The moment you see a problem, it will first teach you hold back. Don't let your bias and your assumptions and your previous experience immediately situate the problem for you. Okay. So that is the very first step that you need to think. Okay, looks like a probable solution. How can I solve it differently? How it affects everybody? If that attitude you develop, it will be a great thing. That is what critical thinking also teaches.
Absolutely. Ajoy, there are a couple of questions which have come.
Yes, sir.
Let me just address
because I'll take it.
People always wanted to listen to you. There are many of them have said Jain sir, 4-5 of them. And
my reply, Jain to all of you.
Yeah.
A very, very Jain to all of you.
Then one gentleman asked, please ask about ASMI submachine gun by Lieutenant Colonel Prasad Bansod and future project of making Indian assault rifle. Yeah, this recently has happened, I think, in infantry school.
Yeah, so infantry school, I also read about it. See, I am not part of that. It's more than 1 year that I have retired now. So, and before that, I was an instructor in staff college. So I was away from this stream. So infantry school has a section which keeps developing and keep dealing with innovative projects, new projects, be it weapon system, be it grenade system, be it any system. Every branch has that. So I have also read it in the paper that they've developed this submachine gun carbine in this weapon system. Honestly, I have not seen it. I have not used it. So I'm not in a position to actually make any comments on that.
I think there were big write-up on this, I think day before yesterday or something in Times of India.
Okay, I have seen it. I have seen it in one of the channels and one of the news features only. And within the WhatsApp group in the army that this has been developed. So like I told you, we have tremendous amount of innovative brain in our system.
And he has created an indigenous weapon of this.
I can understand that. I can totally. We have.
There was an article in Times of India a couple of days back. I read it. Okay, next, somebody has asked if you could share some experience with Captain Harshan Nair Ashok Chakra.
Yeah, last time also I spoke about him. Harshan was an outstanding human being, kind of a model officer, I would say, youngster. He had a fantastic feature. He was tall, well built, and physically tremendously fit. And we had a lot of hope in our unit that this guy will grow up to become, he will have a very, very successful career. And he was sent to me. His probation officer was somebody else. At that time, I was in Shupian. So after he cleared his probation, he was sent to me for live training. So he used to go for patrols and all for operations with me, and he was an avid learner. And he would soak up everything. So he used to walk with me, and the same thing which I was telling you that I used to keep narrating. Always think before you act, and think critically, think deeply before you act. And this is the only thing that will keep you alive. And so I have such fond memories of that. That when we used to go out, he would always be walking just behind me only. And he will always see what I'm doing, what orders I'm passing, how I am discussing with civilians, how I'm meeting with civilians. I could always see from a peripheral view that he's always looking at me and he's always trying to soak up. So I was always had to be a model guy to say the right thing, do the right thing, so that he picks up the right, the right traits and all. The best part is, when he went for horse course, he also went for horse course. And he was best in physicals, if I'm not wrong. And so he did very well in horse course also. And yeah, he was a model youngster, a model young officer, and a model gentleman, a thorough gentleman. He was intelligent. He was physically fit. He was always eager to learn, and that's what I've seen him. And like I said, that in unit, we had great hopes that he will rise very high in the service and he will do very well in the service. And when it happened, I was not in India. I was in Botswana at that time. I just got the news. It was heartbreaking. And, yeah, such a great human being. And what a terrible loss for all of us. So his operation was in Kupwara, in the place Lolab, next to Sogam. I had operated there before. So when I heard the story from people from my unit, I could picturize that area and how he went down. And, tremendous heroic effort, what I heard from the people. I mean, that's the true heroes that we have, the true real life heroes that we had. I'm really lucky that I came to know him. That's all I can say. Really, really lucky to know.
Ajay, what I said, your viewer also said the same thing. He said that Sir got a great storytelling skills and he also covers every minute detail. This is a compliment for you.
Thank you. That's probably the instructor inside me keeps talking.
Maybe, that's why I also said, no, if you write the same story in the book, I am telling you, is going to be the best storyteller.
I don't have the patience. So any question on design thinking? I don't think people have.
People are asking others.
They're more interested in other stories. No, but I will implore you guys, all of you, that please study design thinking. It will help you tremendously in your life. And you must read, study, and do a course. Otherwise, just going through YouTube videos and all is not going to help. You have to do a course. Go do a course. Go do a workshop. Attend a workshop. Live workshop. Find good instructor. And go through it. It will have a tremendous impact in your every aspect of your life, right from your leadership quality. I always say that to be a good leader, one of the traits that you must have is having an innovative and creative mindset. That is very, very essential for any leader. So I take your audiences are future leaders, all of them. So it is imperative that they must develop innovative and creative mindset. And this helps you develop that mindset. So they must do that. That's my only appeal through you. I got nothing to do with design thinking. They should not think that I'm selling it. It's a very, very old concept. It is going on since 1960.
I know. The American Army has already adopted that.
Yeah, not only American Army, it is adopted across the world. It started with the Israeli Army. Israeli Army actually rejected it.
Okay.
Then American Army picked it up.
Yeah.
Then it is all over. All the Western NATO armies, they use it. And in various forms, they adopted it, they modified it, and US Army teaches it differently. US Special Operation Command, they have a dedicated course in design thinking in US Special Operation Command. We don't have it. I tried to introduce it in staff college. Let's see how it happens. I went there twice.
In fact, I tell you, the guys, though very modestly, Ajay has said that he doesn't have to do anything with it, but he does conduct the workshops for the corporates and other big companies and all, and he's
No,
very good at.
I'll just correct you, sir. I'm an associate consultant with a firm, with a corporate training firm called Mobius Space. You may look it up in the internet, Mobius Space. I am an associate consultant, and they are the real brains of design thinking. They conduct classes in all IIMs. IIM Lucknow, Ahmedabad, they run their workshop in that. And also they run independent workshop separately. But they are based out of Mumbai, but they do travel to all senior management institutes of the country, and they go and do conduct classes. I take part of it. I take just part of that whole design thinking workshop. I just come in to cover part of the syllabus. So they are the main people who do it. And to run a workshop of design thinking, it needs a team, and it takes a couple of days actually. Minimum 3 days program is required.
Just somebody asked a very technical question. Probably you may be able to answer that. Sir, how do you see that 5.56 45 mm NATO round as compared to 7.62 39 mm round for special operations?
My goodness, I think he's read somewhere in my past. We changed the caliber of our special forces way back when I was in MO directorate from 5.56 back to 7.62 into 39. We realized that 5.56, the concept that time was that you injure rather than kill. So while you injure your opponent, your enemy, they will put more logistical weight, on the resources. They will put a lot of demand on the resources of the enemy by handling more injured people rather than more killed people. Okay. So that is why the transition happened to smaller caliber of 5.56. But 5.56, when you are firing on a militant, the militant is still firing back. So it was not helping us. So then deliberately we had to take a decision. Okay, switch over back to your 7.62. So 7.62, when it hits somebody, and 7.62 39 is the AK-47 round. We had the same round for SLR, but that was 7.60 into 39, 51. So that is a longer one, but it had tremendous power. One SLR round, if it hits somebody, he cannot get up. Whereas M58, your all other weapon system with 5.56, even couple of 5.56 hits, the guy can still fight up to a certain time, till the time it actually, unless it penetrates a vital organ where it actually knocks him off. But any other hit, any other place, the guy can still fight. So the concept of 5.56 was to injure rather than kill. That was for against a regular conventional force, so that they bring in administrative, weight on they actually affect their administration more. But in counterinsurgency scenario, if you want to hit a militant, you want to kill him with one round, with minimum round. So that 5.56 was not working in this particular scenario. So hence the transition.
There's somebody has asked you very, I think, up to the subject. Sir, as a veteran, what do you think about the slow dehumanization of war?
I didn't get that. Sorry, slow?
Dehumanization.
Of whom?
Dehumanization of war. Slow dehumanization of war.
My goodness, that's a very, very... War is inevitable part of any society. Okay. So the moment you are in conflict with someone, there is in a conflict, you cannot be a good player and a bad player. Everybody is bad at that time. Now, it depends on people to people and their traits. Like all 5 fingers of your hand are not same. Every 5th guy is not same. Every guy is different. So how they behave in a situation, whether they remain human, even in war or not, it's a very subjective question. It totally depends on his mental makeup of that guy. So I would say, by and large, in the Indian Army, we are the most human soldiers in the whole world. We do not We do not do anything which actually disrespects, or to the level of, we go down to the level of situation where we can be termed as dehumanized. No, we don't. A person is an enemy or a militant till he is alive. The moment he is dead, his body has to be, we have always given full respect. You have seen it in Kargil war. We have handed over all the bodies back to Pakistan with duly wrapped in Pakistan flag. We have done everything to pay respect to every fallen person, be it ours, be it theirs. Even when we have the killed militants' bodies were handed over to the police, or in a condition that he was found. I mean, whatever condition happened after the battle. So there is no question of dehumanification of. I would purely say in Indian Army we do not have that concept. I have never seen it. In my unit, it has never happened. In my team, it has never happened. And yes, one thing I would tell you is the difference between the Western folks that you have always heard about, that PTSD problem, under stress after the conflict. Somehow in my team, the officers that I have, the youngsters that I have worked with, I've never faced that. I would say that no, I mean, we are far more resilient.
Yes.
We are far more, I would say that we obey our orders seriously. We take human life seriously, no matter whose is it. But I don't think what the dehumanization concept works for us. It has never been there.
Another gentleman has asked, how for a combat you improved your decision-making skills, which can help us in our life?
Yeah, decision-making skills. That's a very important question. Firstly, you must have detailed knowledge about the subject on which you are taking a decision. Very, very detailed knowledge. You should have done your homework to a great extent. You should know what you're going to give a decision on. Second most important thing is take a decision. Indecision is the biggest problem in the present day society. I've seen many, many senior officers actually get nervous in taking a decision for whatever reason. If you don't take a decision, good, bad, ugly, based on whatever experience that you have, firstly, you have to have that knowledge. You have to have that much of data with you to take a decision. And after you gathered the data, you have discussed with the people, then you must take a decision and not delay a decision. A delayed decision is as good as not taking a decision. So to take a good decision, you have to have your knowledge base proper. Every day in whichever company you're working or whatever you're doing, you got to be a master of your game. There is no two ways about it. Okay. Second thing is, you must have a collaborative approach. That if anybody, you have to take a decision, see that how that decision is affecting the people who are going to work on it. You must take their views into account. That is very important. That's where the design thinking empathy part also comes in. So you beforehand, you should have actually thought about it, or while taking a decision, think about it. How your decision is going to impact the people who are going to act on it. Next is not just giving a decision. Thereafter, empowering those people and resourcing those people to be able to work on your decision. That is also your responsibility, to create environment for the people who are going to play out your decision. But at the end of it, I would always say, take a decision. A decision once taken, while that thing is being rolled out, new dynamics will come. Thereafter, you tweak your decision. You can always, because new data coming in, the moment that decision, whatever decision that is progressing, the action has progressed, new data will come in. The environment would change. New stuff will come in. So keep modifying it as per the requirement. But do not hesitate from taking a decision. Good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. So what happens is, in my life, what I've seen is, when people don't take decision, the entire machinery which is waiting for him to take a decision has got nowhere to go. They are all stuck. lot of waste of resources, lot of waste of time. So
Ajay, there are many questions, means I have to stop somewhere. And the last
yeah,
question I
today
take
also I
only,
think it is going to 1 hour 22 minutes. Sir. I
that's
thought
what
we
I'm
should be
saying.
able to wrap up in 45 minutes.
Last question I take, somebody has asked that, can mental strength be built? If yes, how?
Remember, everything of your aspect, mental, physical, everything can be built. Nobody gets, get born with
Born.
everything inbuilt. Yeah,
Yes.
there is nothing. Everything, your mental, right from your mental ability and aptitude and everything can be built, and you can. There are many self-help books in this particular aspect. You got to be dedicated to your cause, what you believe, which is right. Number one. Number two is you got to equip yourself always with the skills necessary for the future. Okay, whatever new skills, whichever direction you want to go, skill up. Most important thing. Read. Nowadays, while you're doing whatever you're doing, there are many, many short courses everywhere which is happening. Keep,
Yeah.
upskilling yourself. That is most important. Keep yourself physically fit. Lastly, most important, always keep a positive bent of mind. Always believe everybody that everybody is default good. Once you do that, once your mental health is good, you are at peace. If somebody surprises you with a bad behavior, so be it. That man is so like that, but that should not affect your, your views to the rest of the people. Be the good man yourself first. So your mental strength is basically comes from how good you are. If you know yourself well, if you have equipped yourself, upskilled yourself well to face the environment that is around you, that is the confidence. The confidence comes from that only. So keep yourself prepared physically and mentally both. Do not forget though, each has to
Yeah.
support each other. You
Yes.
have to
Both.
be, and earlier also I've explained about the discipline and motivation, the difference between. It is more important to have discipline than just motivation. So have a discipline, have a little bit of discipline, what you do. And so from there only your mental strength will come.
One more gentleman has asked, last one, if I take this, sir, is it good to have a plan B and C?
Of course, we call it as a contingency planning. Okay. So everything in life will never go through the only one plan that you make, that it will never go like that. In war, in action, we always say the plan works only till the first bullet is fired. After that, the whole plan gets in. But that doesn't mean that you will not have a main plan. So you will have a plan A, you will have a plan B. These are called contingency planning. Okay. If this is not working, what is that? So you're preparing for a one particular exam. Okay. You wanted to become IIT engineer. Okay. You cannot have a situation, okay, IIT nahi mila to main kuch nahi karunga. So if IIT nahi mila to then what? Let's say engineering nahi mila. Then what? Then which direction will you go? So you have to have fallback options. You have to have number of plans. Plan A, plan B, plan. Ye nahi hua to ye, ye nahi hua to ye, ye nahi hua to ye. This is, I will relate it with the army operations. When we go for raid, there is always a main target, there is an alternate target. If the main target is not there, missed, it has moved out, we move to the alternate target. So it is, everything must have alternates in your life. You must have plan A, plan B, plan C. Ye nahi hota, ye nahi hota. So do not get, I would say, get affected by if something is not happening correct. If it is not happening correct, something is not happening correct. Don't waste time in that. Switch over. Do not waste your emotion, energy, mind space with that.
Somebody is asking a very technical question. Sir, do you think that search engines will play a major role in narrative building?
Search engine and narrative building. Now you're going to technical IT world.
That's what
It will totally depend on how gullible the mass is.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all comes from lack of education. So if people believe WhatsApp stories, if people continue to believe what is there in internet, thinking that is the gospel truth, if people do not carry out research, a simple I would say, practice that every one of us need to develop is that whatever news you get, check it out. Type it immediately into the Google. See whether it is truth or false. There are multiple sources will generate you a lot of inputs. Then make a decision. Do not, I implore all of you, do not believe in anything what comes in WhatsApp, Instagram, your Facebook. I don't even have a Facebook account. Facebook and all. Do not. These are all, programmed in a manner to manipulate with your mind space for a particular reason. Everybody does it. So we have to educate ourselves. Now you know it. Please educate your parents, your brothers, sisters, your friends. Do not trust blindly anything that is there in social media. That's an absolute no-no. Rather, now the reverse attitude should be developed. But do not trust social media at all unless you have cross-checked it with number of sources and then you found some truth, some evidence, then on. I don't believe, and I don't believe in any of the social media things that comes in. Right? Again, that mindset, your bias is opinion. Stop. Do not trust it. Cross-check. Google it. Simple as that. Google official websites. And there are many official websites that will tell you the truth.
With this, let me tell you, what a vast range or spectrum of the topics you have covered, starting from the design thinking, disruptive innovation, then talking about your experience of mountaineering, and thereafter answering those varied questions on weapon system and other things. It's always a pleasure to learn from your experiences. And I'm sure the kind of questions I'm getting and the viewers who are hooked on to this viewing your conversation, you can imagine that what value addition you are doing to the universe. So, Ajay, on behalf of my viewers and myself, thank you so much once again finding time and conversing with me and enlightening us on many aspects of life. Thank you so
I would
much.
say that I am grateful, sir, that you given me an opportunity that I would, I'm so honored that so many people are actually listening. And if my experience can help anybody at any point of life, that I'm very happy, because I guess, 57 years of life in many difficult conditions. If it can ease the path of somebody else, I think it's worth sharing. So, and my only appeal to everybody through you, sir, is be always happy. It doesn't take much.
I know. I
The
agree.
easier we used to have this India people have this society always take the harder right than the softer wrong, but take the harder path. Is that I would always say this, that ki easy तो सबको ही कर लेगा, easy काम तो सबको ही कर लेता है, तो हिम्मत है तो थोड़ा tough करके देखो. Everybody thinks that I have the courage now. So if you are that courageous, walk the difficult path. That's where the strength lies. Easy तो कोई भी कर लेगा.
I agree. I fully agree.
So
I subscribe
the
to
fun
this.
is the way to growth is only when you put yourself in uncomfortable position. You should always have a alarm bell in your mind that the moment life becomes a little bit comfortable, there is something wrong.
Yes.
There's something wrong. So
Yeah.
be happy.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Ajay. And let
Thank
me
you, sir.
just
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
just a minute.